All right, in this video, you're gonna see the ultimate fishing knot for beginners. This one knot, it's easy to tie, which is obviously important, but more importantly, it can be used for every connection that you're gonna need. It can be used to connect a line to a hook, and pretty much all lines this works for. Also, you can use this same knot for line to line. And so I'll show you exactly how to do both in this video. Again, this is an excellent knot. It has strong connections, and as I said before, it is easy to tie. So here is how it's done. So first step is just to put, this is going to be a line to a hook, or you can do the same thing for line to lure. We just have a hook here, but go through the eye of the hook or the lure, and then we're going to pull out about 8 inches of tag end. So we have the tag on the top, the main line coming out on the bottom, and I like to kind of just do a little pinch, or at least just hold it there. And this tag end, just basically do a simple loop. And this is actually the hardest part. As long as you get this down, you've got it. So all this is, it's the tag end that is just looped around. And then I secure it with my thumb, the thumb that's holding the hook or the lure. And so this is it, right? That's the hardest step. If you can do this, you've got it. So the final step after doing this basic loop is to take this tag end and go from around and go through this loop. So go back around through the loop and pull it up. All right, and hold it there. And so we're going to do that 5 times total. So now we're going to do it 4 more times. So there's number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So I probably should have made that loop a little bit bigger, but you can see the gist of it. So the final assessment, just to make sure everything's good, is just to make sure that all of these loops are all going in the same line. There should be no overlapping. And again, as long as you tied it that way, you're good. And so now we can start cinching it down a little bit. We'll now put a little bit of saliva on it to make sure it cinches down well. And so we have a little bit of saliva on it now. And so now we can get a little bit tighter. And then at this point, this knot is going to slide down. So as I pull, it's going to slide down, and I'll just try to go nice and slow. And when we put the max force on it is when these coils get onto the top of the hook. We get a better hold on it. So they get to the top of the hook. And now I'm just going to tighten, 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 and those coils will all tighten down just nice and uniformly. You can see that. So that's the completed knot. You can see easy to tie, and this is a very strong knot. And again, and the same premise can hold true with line to line. So the final step is just to cut the tag end off, and now we have a secure connection that we can knock this out with one basic knot. And so now let's go ahead and do the line to line so you can see how that works as well. We're going to use the same line. We are going to use this braid, and I'll show you the unique things for braid. And actually, back to the hook. So if we're going to tie a braid to like a swivel, I recommend not going braid to hook. I always like to have a leader. So if you're going to do like a braid to a swivel, instead of doing the 5 turns, you just times it times 2. So do 10 turns. And so that's going to be the same premise with the braid as well. All right, so now for the line to line. So we're going to take these 2 lines. We have one coming from the right, one from the left, and we're going to overlap them so the tags are going away from each other. And what I'll start with is the mono. And so we're going to do, again, the same exact thing. This time it's opposite because the mono is coming from the other side though. So we're going to do that loop. All right, do that same loop, secure it. So I'm going to be securing everything with my right hand. And now, again, we have this tag coming up, and now we have this loop with the braid coming out here. This is the braid going to the reel. And now the same premise, right? We're going to go take the tag in through this loop 5 times. Remember, 5 times for the mono. There's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so now we're going to go ahead and just pull it tight, just finger tight, so that it just keeps everything in place. That is good. And now we're going to do the same thing with the braid. So with this braid, we now have, again, about 8 to 10 inches of tag end coming out. And now we have this leader line, which is going to the hook or the lure. And the same premise. So now with this tag end, we just do that little loop, secure it, right? And now I basically have that first uni knot locked in my finger, securing that loop. And so now with this tag end of the braid, we're going to go through this knot in the same way, but instead of 5 turns, we're going to do it 10 turns because this is braid. If you're going to do a mono to mono or a mono to fluoro, you only need to do 5. But if you're doing a really thick line to a light line, I would recommend doing at least a couple more for the light lines. There's 2, 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And same as before, right? The sanity check is just to make sure that all these coils are all going in the same direction. There should be no overlaps. And as you tighten it down, you'll see it. So we're going to go ahead and start tightening down this braid. You can see it does some nice little turns, and it's all going to basically coil down to a nice uniform little pack. And so what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of saliva on both these knots. All right, so now they're ready to cinch, and what we're going to do is we're basically going to pull these lines. We're going to let go of the tag ends, and we're going to pull these lines and have these 2 knots bump into each other. So they're basically stops for each other. And so that is going to complete the knot. You can see that the mono cinch down, the braid cinch down. So now we have basically 2 uni knots. It's called the double uni knot, because it's a uni knot on the mono, then a uni knot on the braid, and you pull them together and they'll cinch down against each other, and that will not come undone. These knots are now locked in place. Final step is to simply just cut the tag end. Put the tag end there of the mono, so you're gonna have 2 tag ends, one for the mono, one for the braid. And now we have a completed knot. And as I said before, right, if we were gonna be tying on a hook and we're making a leader, we would just cut the end of the leader from the spool, and then we could just go ahead and tie on the hook like we showed before. We can make that connection, and now you have an entire leader assembly. You don't have to bother with swivels. You can do it all on your own. You can do it quickly, and you can do it with that one basic knot. And so just given how versatile this is the one knot that I recommend all anglers know, especially beginners, because you can cover everything you need with this one knot. If you have any questions at all about how it works going from to terminal tackle or doing the line to line, as you saw here, please let me know. Use the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you out however possible. And if you're new to Salt Strong, just know that we're the online fishing club that guarantees you'll be catching more fish than ever before while saving money on all the tackle you need. To learn more, go to saltstrong.com. Otherwise, hope to see you again soon. There's so